Hi, everybody. This is Tammy Blakemore, and welcome to another episode of Ara Friends. And today I have a special guest with quality and manufacturing. It's Brea, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Thank you. My name is Brea Viratos, and I'm the lead consultant of Viratos Solutions. My background is in contract manufacturing for the most part. Started in quality, worked my way up to CEO of a manufacturing company, and then was able to sell the operations and now doing consulting for manufacturers and brand holders that need help unifying operations and quality team members.
Yes. Okay. Brea's a person after my own heart. I just love her. She's, been a quality with me in quality, and we've worked together. And then she's amazingly worked her way all the way through the system, ran a company, sold a company. I mean, it's just awesome. So today I was going to ask you some questions about like raw material qualifications, but how that um, impacts vendor qualification. So I think to me they go hand in hand, but maybe this is a little misunderstood because all of our suppliers, vendors that give us materials have to be qualified under FDA. And so, how do you see that, Maria? How do you see that working?
Yeah, this is a great question, and I think it's often not tied together. But really, the supplier qualification program should tie into your raw material qualification and your risk assessment and your testing frequency of the raw material. So, having a risk-based program on your suppliers. So being able to categorize them as high, medium, or low risk based on reviewing the FDA dashboard data, reviewing the packets that they supply you, if you can audit them, but then tying this to the raw materials that they supply you and looking at the risk of the raw material, whether it's botanical and whether there's a risk for high heavy metals or micros, but looking at it based on ingredient category and then taking the supplier qualification, the ingredient qualification, and then determining your testing frequency and what you're testing and how often. A lot of manufacturers can benefit from a reduced testing plan based on supplier qualification and raw material qualification.
Yes, that is awesome. That's perfect. And that way they can make sure that they've got really high quality vendors and they can prove it because they have these test results that shows, maybe I don't know, and you're like I said better at this than me, but like you've had five materials, pass with flying colors. You've tested maybe three different lots. I don't know how your formula works, but you have something in an SOP that shows how you're doing it. You haven't had any trouble with this vendor, they would qualify for some reduced testing. And then also they would be considered a high quality vendor and a qualified vendor. So there's a lot that plays into this to be able to, the higher your quality your vendor, that in the long run, the less it's going to cost you day to day.
Exactly.
Maybe
But
even
also having a method to qualify them and quantify whether, because a lot of programs do say that they categorize their suppliers and it's high, medium, low, but my question to you is how do you do it? What defines a low risk supplier? Making sure you have a method behind how you are doing your risk assessment, what are your criteria you're looking at. Like you mentioned, test results are a great way to evaluate how many out of specs versus how many receipts have you had. That's really important, is making sure that you have clear criteria to categorize your supplier so that when you're integrating it into your testing program, you understand what you use to justify or categorize that supplier.
That is awesome information. And hopefully, I mean, this is some good takeaways on, just writing those documents, getting your ducks in a row on the qualifications, because it's an FDA requirement and a lot of companies don't even know how to do it. So this was like a good detailed explanation on how this works. Um,
Yes.
so thank you again for the nuggets and being on today's podcast. It's been great information, and I truly appreciate you helping, bring some education to the industry. And, that's what we're all about. Let's have some high quality ingredients and products being made out there. So
Thank you
thanks a
for
lot.
having me.
You're welcome. Next time we'll talk to you again on Ara and Friends. Bye-bye.
Bye.